So welcome to day 2 for activate and amplify your purpose. So the first thing that I'm going to, I'm just going to give you a rundown, right? So I'm going to do a deep relaxation exercise, right, to tune your cells, your energetic frequencies, because it isn't just this body that you see. It's not just this physical body. It is, your energy body. Your body is in your energy body, right? So I don't really know how to explain it, but it's all parts of you coming together into peace and love. And here's why. When you are on an energetic frequency of love and peace, that is what you're sowing, right? That's the energy that you're sowing. And so you're going to keep reaping those experiences, right? You're going to keep having that frequency come back to you. That doesn't mean that that's always going to happen, because you have parts of you that need transmuting, that needs bringing into love, right? But the more you focus on wholeness, the less work you have to do in terms of trying to fix everything, right? It's more that you focus on the new creation, you come into wholeness, and you do whatever work's required. Right? So it's not about bypassing. And so the reason why I'm talking about this today is because yesterday I wasn't feeling that kind of peaceful, blissed out, loved up state that I normally feel. And I don't know why. I did become an observer and move into gratitude and just started to look for the gold, right, as I was going through it. But this really hits home for me, like throughout my whole journey, has been coming into those states. Every fucking thing you do, every goal you have, everything you do, whether it's to lose weight or attract a new partner, or to grow your business or to make a difference in the world, is for those feelings, right? It's for that sense of achievement. It's for the love, the joy, the bliss that you feel when you are in fact doing those things, not just when you've done them, because you might find that when you've done them, they're not they're not all they're cracked up to be when you get there. You might do, you might not do, but that is the reason. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is the deep relaxation exercise. And then after that, I'm going to go into some core principles and what I have learned on my journey from different people around business strategy, and also what works for me. So really all that you're doing is finding what works for you and trusting yourself throughout that process. So if you're here now, say hi. And we're going to do the deep relaxation exercise. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea in the glass. Oh, that's pretty nice. And what you can do is just going to have both feet planted on the floor, hands in your lap. You can have them open or just on your knees. It's totally fine. And then just take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and put your shoulders back. Open your heart. Move your neck around. Okay, just relax. Allow yourself to loosen up. If you've got the voice of logic, really trying to get you into the how, or doing it properly, just turn it down and put it to the side, and just listen to the sound of my voice. And breathe in through your nose, gently out through your mouth. There's no right way or wrong way of doing this. Just allow yourself to start relaxing. And you're going to start feeling subtle shifts in your body. Now, as we go through this process, there might be emotions or thoughts or things that come up, and just allow them. Acknowledge them without paying attention to them, but acknowledge them, and we're going to love on them. So just take 6 deep breaths and relax. Fantastic. Okay, and now let's the image of your favorite flower. So for me, it is deep red, fragrant rose. Just allowing that flower, whatever it is for you. And if it's not a flower, put some other kind of image in. But what you want to feel, sense, hear, smell, touch is a feeling of divine beauty. Where you're free to open. Now, this image that you have, place it in the center of your heart. And you can feel this flower breathing. So what you're going to imagine is you can imagine this warm gold liquid light coming from above your head, and just imagining it covering the top of your scalp, relaxing your forehead, relaxing your eyelids, relaxing down the sides of your face, relaxing through your cheeks, relaxing through your nose, your lips, your chin, your throat, your shoulders, down through your arms, your elbows, through your wrists, your hands, your fingers, all the way down through your back, through your stomach, your womb space, your pelvis or your groin, relaxing all the way down your thighs, your knees, your calves, your shins, down through your ankles, through your feet, rooting into the center of Mother Earth, and allowing this lovely liquid gold energy to naturally flow up as much as you can is just perfect for you. Now you're going to imagine you're in a place that feels divine. It feels luxurious. It can be somewhere you know, or it could be somewhere you imagine, or it can be something you remember from this lifetime or another, from your generational lines, from something you've seen, from something you've experienced. Whatever comes through for you is just perfect. And today we're going to focus on water. Okay. So I just want you to imagine that you've developed. So it's going to sound a bit out there, but that's what it is. You're just going to imagine that you can breathe underwater. So it's like a liquid, it's like a clear liquid. It can be any color you want it to be. It can be white, it can be blue, it can be light blue, it can be whatever color you want it to be. But something that feels really, really nice to you, really calming, really peaceful. And as I count from 5 to 1, you're going to imagine this water in some format. So you might be watching the water. You might be in the water at a level that feels nice to you. You might be lying on your back in the water. You might be on a boat in the water. You might just have an ornament or something that's near you, like a water ornament or something along those lines. And you're just going to see this water flowing. 5, going deeper, completely relaxing. 4, 3. Now, if you have a fear of water, you're going to swap it out for something that feels good to you. So it could be warm sunshine. But for those of you who don't have a fear of water, allow yourself to go deeper. 2, 1. Okay. And the image that is coming through is that you're thirsty for love, refreshment. You're thirsty for relaxation. You're thirsty for peace. You want to rest. 2, 1. And just stay here. No need to do anything. Just sit through the process. Allowing yourselves to just gently come back, gently refine that process. No force. Just following the breath. Allowing yourself to completely relax. And as you're in this space, you're going to feel love. And you might notice the resistance in your body. So for me, the resistance comes up in my pelvis and my groin. You're just going to breathe love into that area. Just really gently. We're not trying to get anywhere or do anything. Just allow it to be. Perfect. And now as you're here, I want you to remember an experience where you felt bliss. It's a state of being or awe or wonder. Could be as a child. Could be your first kiss. Wasn't for me. It wasn't. It could be the first time you saw a particular scenery in nature. When you have it, allow yourself to feel it and smile. You may have more than one. You may discover that as you are tapping into this frequency, you actually have many, many experiences like this. It could be your children, it could be in a meditation, it could be something new. And just allow this love to flow through you. Coming into agreement, allowing yourselves to come into agreement with unconditional love. There's no labels here. There's no identity other than unconditional love. Just allow yourself to enjoy it. And it's so yummy. It's peaceful. Feel your cells getting lighter and gradually feeling the resistance releasing from your body. And if you've got any worries, any painful memories, any hurt, anything that anyone else has made you feel, any guilt of your own you might be carrying, just put it into the water or the sunshine. And allow those feelings and those thoughts to be cleansed. You don't have to do anything. Just give them over. In your own time. You don't have to get to everything all in one go, just whatever's coming up for you now. And what I want you to do is I want you to imagine yourself receiving a really, really big cuddle, a really large hug from unconditional love, just loving on you, just so overjoyed that you're in existence. Just allow that love to pour through you. It's for you. And lock it in. Lock it into an anchor in your body. You can squeeze your fingers if that helps. I find it nicer to squeeze it gently on my wrist. Breathing in and out. And allowing that to grow, that new state of being to grow through you. Feeling renewed, refreshed, and revitalized. Lock it in. And then when you're ready, gently just wriggling your fingers and your toes, gently open your eyes and come back. Okay, awesome. All right, so like I said in the beginning, you are loved unconditionally, and basically all that you're doing is coming into agreement with that. You were never broken, right? You were never broken. There's nothing you need to prove to anyone. There's nothing like that. It's literally just coming into agreement with unconditional love, and who unconditional love knows who you are, right? So you are all powerful. You have dominion over your own life. You can live in peace. You get to create, you get to fully express yourself, and you get to live life on your terms to the fullest, right? And when you do that, when you come into alignment with that, and when everyone's coming into alignment with that, there's actually harmony, because you understand that you don't need anything from anyone or anything. It becomes a co-creative space, right? So it's, it takes a little bit of deconstruction to get there. But that's basically how it works. So so when you're creating, right, when you're coming into your purpose, when you are delivering your gifts through your business, when you're learning, when you're on this next level of your journey, you're going to discover a whole load of things, right? You really are. But my key tip, my biggest takeaway is coming into unconditional love for yourself, because there's so much information out there. There's so much dogma out there. There's so much condemnation out there. There's so much comparison, that that can actually add to your feelings of feeling unworthy, or like you're not doing enough, or that you should be doing it someone else's way, or something along those lines, right? And what I have found as a Manifesto HD profile, although I know that is a guideline, it's not a box, right? Is that those doing stuff someone else's way doesn't actually work for me, because I'm only 7 to 9% of the population. And even if I was to do things in a way that worked for me using someone else's strategy, it doesn't feel in alignment for me, right? And I'm not interested in creating another paradigm that I'm going to have to unravel later. So I want to build from love and peace. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't step outside of my comfort zone and do things that I've never done before. It just means that I trust myself and I move from love, from those feelings. And I follow what works. So I will usually invest with a coach or a mentor who is in alignment, right? That I really resonate with. So coming back to that, why is this important for you? Because and Layla asked for business strategy. So coming into the business strategy, there are a lot of people who sell on the analytics, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? If that's the way that you were designed and you love the analytics, then you're going to want to follow that. But I'm going to give you some core principles, and then you can discover what works for you. You can rinse and repeat it. You can rinse and repeat and expand it. You can rinse and repeat the core principles if you want to, or you can bring in a completely new paradigm. Right? It really isn't about rigidity. It's just about structure so that you can flow. And so the first thing in business, which is kind of the same for most relationships, but is to know who you serve. It really is. It's to know who you serve. And you can get caught up in the micro niche, you can get caught up in the demographics and the psychographics and who's the person you're talking to and things like that. But there's more to it for me than that, right? It's because anyone can come into your arena. And what happens is sometimes when you get into the demographics or the psychographics or the analytics and the understandings, what you're doing is you're placing a constraint, right? And limitations aren't bad because you're here to go through them. But if you are focused on those things more than the love of what it is you're doing and who you're serving, then you're in your intellect, and you're not really creating from love. You're creating from what you think you should do. Right? You're creating from what you think you should do. And if you're highly spiritual like I am, and we're all spiritual, right? So it's not like it's just understanding how you work. That at some point is not going to work for you because it's not in alignment with who you came to be, which is to move people back into flow in relationship with creator, in relationship with the heart and divine, and actually to break down a lot of these existing structures that we have so that we can create new ways of being until that elevates again, right? And so when I say clear on who it's for, you can do the psychographics and demographics, that's all good, but it's really about what do those souls that need you, what is it they need, right? What is it they need to hear? And what is coming through you to deliver it to them, right? So for me, I'm really here to activate and amplify your purpose. That's my key core theme that comes through over and over and over and over, and it has since I started the journey. And with that, you get many, many other benefits out of it. But it's not limited to a set of rules. It's more that I understand the person from a heart level, and I also am very clear on the service that I'm providing for them, right? So here's a couple of questions that you can ask, right? Who is my favorite person to work with? What results do they receive? What are my gifts that I'm providing to them? right? And what is it that they need, right? In terms of pain and desires. So for me, typically, I don't want to focus too much on your pain, because I know that your focus is important. And when you focus on pain, you actually end up creating more pain. So for me, it's more about your desires, your heart's desires, being in alignment with who you are, what you came to do, and being yourself authentically, right? Being yourself, your unfair advantage authentically, right? So those are the questions that I would ask, right? Who do I serve? And typically I serve people that are spiritual, that have a purpose and a calling. They feel it in their hearts, that have trauma, right? Because I have so much. I really understand it. I had so much, right? And they are here to make a positive difference in the world, and they need to show up, right? They really, really need to show up. And so that is a kind of a brief outline of the people that I'm serving. And it's really those souls that are waking up to deliver that purpose. But they're also, and they're also conditioned into people pleasing tactics as well, right? So it's really allowing those layers to unfold so that they can rest in peace, joy, love, pleasure, trust, harmony, play, all of those things as they do, right? So it's not doing so they can rest, they rest as they do. And sometimes they won't always feel that way, but it's holding them through that tension, that structure, really getting them into that flow. So my second question is, or the second core principle is, so the first one that I was talking about is really delivering to your audience, right? Speaking to the right audience. And Alex Hormozy has a book called $100 Million Offers, and it's a brilliant book. Actually, I've read it about 3 times. And, one of the questions he asks is, where would you put a hot dog stand? And like the people were like, well, you put it in a location outside this place or that place or whatever. But the answer was, we put it where people are hungry, right? Because that's what they want. So in getting clear on the right audience, that's what you're doing. You're of service to those that need your gifts, that want and need your gifts. Now, it could be they want your gifts, or it could be they need it, right? It could be both. Usually is both. And that's what it means. That's what they mean by serving to the right audience. Because if you're serving meat hot dogs, right, to a group of vegetarians, then unless those vegetarians suddenly want to become meat eaters, which they might down the line, they're very unlikely to buy those hot dogs. And the analogy that I just used is a good analogy for that. But again, it's not rigid, because those vegetarians might become meat eaters. So you don't want to get too rigid in who is my right audience. You just want to be really clear within yourself who that right audience is, and then take obvious steps. So for example, I did coaching with someone in one of my other groups. I'm going to tag him on here. So he helps teachers to transform. So his right audience is going to be speaking to teachers. Now, where can he do that? There's multiple different ways, right? Well, you could go around schools, you could pitch, right? You could join networking events, you could join groups on Facebook that has loads of teachers in it, right? There's so many different ways that you can do it. There's no one right way. And of course, you're going to rinse and repeat until you find what works for you. And actually what works for you will stop working for you at some point, so you'll have to move it up again. But you just want to be really, really clear in your message and allow it to be flexible and transform, because people are starting to wake up consciously, unconsciously, should I say it right? And then, so coming to my second tip. So the first one was around the right audience, who you're speaking to. So the second one is in your services, right? It's in your offers. So Alex Hormozy talks about creating an irresistible offer, right? So having a simple framework, and loads of business coaches teach this, by the way. So they will have, it's really effective though, I have to be honest, right? So they'll have a simple framework, which is like, say for example, if you want weight loss, right? You want weight loss, maybe because you think it's going to, I don't know what the reason is, but you want weight loss, And so a framework for that would be to take you through 3 or 4 steps of how that works. So the first one would be, you know, like, where are you now? Right, so put your markers down. This is how heavy I am, this is how many times a week I work out, or whatever. These are my patterns over the years, whatever, right? Then you're going to have someone who says, right, implement this in a way that's going to work for you. So they might come up with like a diet plan, or they might come up with an exercise regime. Hopefully they'll have some kind of mindset and body work in there, but it will be, you know, it will be something tailored to their ideal client, to the person that they're serving. What was I going to say? And they're going to think of all of the things that could come up that's going to arise as the client's going through their journey, right? So for me, I know with doing the theory of mind and body work and this work myself, that by like week 3 or whatever it is, that's when the resistance typically hits. So we operate a state of homeostasis. So every time we do something new, or something that's considered new because it's a change in the old, your mind will be on board. First of all, you'll be really excited, that energy will be there, and you'll be like, this is amazing. And then you'll hit states of creative tension where your homeostasis kicks in and it wants to swing you back to the old and to the familiar. And so it is up to me, it is my job to hold you to the highest potential whilst being really loving, and to bring it to your awareness. Now, I can't do the work for you, I can only assist you, right? So it's not, and the same with weight loss, right? They can't do the work for you, they can only assist you. So they're going to look at that framework and say, right, okay, where are you now? You know, what is going to work best for you? This is the plan, and this is how to keep it off. Right, so they're going to have some kind of framework that works, and then they might put it in some kind of alphabetical order, right? So it might be like, I don't know, W A R S or something, right? Where are you now? Like, articulate what works, remember, and then stay on track, right? It could be something simple like that. But it's very clear, it's a very clear message for both individuals. So the person who's providing the service knows exactly what they're delivering, and the person who's receiving the service knows exactly why they're signing up, right? And what the result is. And that's very, very important in your framework. So that is really your offer, and it's really clarity. It's a real clear energy, clean energy that comes through you, right? And they can feel that. So if you are not confident in your offer, if you're not confident in your gifts and your services, it could be that there are you know, deeper wounds to heal there, so that you are not trying to be perfect before you actually start selling, right? Because you can't guarantee anything, but you can have confidence in yourself to keep refining, keep learning, and to understand what the guarantee actually is, right, as you go through. So that's my second tip, is being really clear in your offer and the services you provide. So there's a right audience, a clear offer. And there's one more, I can't remember what it is at the top of my head. Just give me a second, because I'm going to look it up. I actually wrote it down somewhere. Din, 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 din. Core principles of business. Have this all sorted before you come online. Yes, be yourself. Be authentically yourself. Now, I know that sounds a bit like I know that can be from 2 different perspectives, right? Because some people don't know who they are yet, right? They don't know what works for them. They haven't done, maybe they've only done personality tests, maybe they don't look at human design, right? Maybe they don't look at gene keys, maybe they haven't recognized how they work over the years. And then the other side of that is people being themselves through their pain, right? So their emotions or their judgments or their comparisons. But actually what you want to connect to is the core personality of who you are, right? So it's being able, and this is why I recommend truth all the time, because the truth, when you tell the truth, not just when you live in the truth of who you are, but although that is the most powerful thing that you can do, right, is living in the truth that you are loved unconditionally and coming into agreement with who you were always meant to be, as a creator, right? You were created as a creator, and obviously from peace and love and real, a real knowing of who you are. So there's no lack distortions, there's no dark distortions there, right? But it's really about remembering that your gifts are of high service to others, and that as you show up as yourself, you're actually in integrity and you're in authenticity. That makes you really magnetic, because then there's no masks, right? There's no deception. So sometimes I'm really fiery. I've got a really feisty side to me. You really do. I can be really I can be really loud, really bold, a little bit outrageous, but in the most unconventional way, not in the way that say many other people will be. And then there's another side of me that's really deep. It's really quite boring. It's very peaceful. It's a very quiet, right? And it's really introverted. So I've got this really extroverted personality, there's really introverted personality, and then many other things going on, right? Those I think are my dominant ones. But when you can be yourself and not attach anything to your worth, right? So your current circumstances, or the current amount of money you make, or what Joe said about you yesterday, right? Or how your family perceive you, or what's going on in the world, or things like that. When you can be not detached, not desensitized, but when you can feel whole with the services you're providing, and who you are as a person. So if you like to show up in your pajamas and you feel really good, right? Then, and your energy just translates, then why would you not do that, right? There's people with cat videos, I'm not joking, on TikTok and YouTube, and I know there's a lot of criticism around it, but they receive, so many millions of views. Or dancers, or, people that show up and be themselves. And the reason why this is so important is not just your energy and you're showing people what it is that you can do, but it's also freedom for you. So you don't have to pretend, you don't have to put all these masks on, right? You're not becoming the millionaire. Right? I don't mean it like that, right? You are becoming the millionaire, but it's not okay. It's not a false impression of who that person is, because you already deserve it, right? You already are it. But most people have projections and perspectives of what they think a millionaire looks like. But actually, if you look at a lot of millionaires, they just go around in their jeans and t-shirts, and a lot of them are from Silicon Valley. I know that's a bit of an assumption, right? But it's not necessarily what you've been taught to believe. It's not necessarily the shiny object syndrome, right? And you might be the kind of person that really likes luxury and likes those kind of things, and that's how you're going to want to show up, right? So it's not about any particular condition. It's about who you are, right? And how you like to express yourself, and about your own authenticity and the way that you interpret things. So that's kind of the third thing, is be yourself. And then the fourth thing is your message, right? Your content, the way that you are communicating to your audience, right? So these are the four core principles. And so in a lot of business things, they'll say, put stuff in your story, share your personal story. What's the other thing? Share value. How can you help? Free step guide to this. Don't do a free step guide. Right? Do this, do that, do that. But it's really about having the clarity within yourself of what works for you, right? Of knowing who you're talking to. And so for me, that's really at a heart-centered level. I can do the copywriting and all the rest of it, but if it doesn't have that energy behind it, even if I get the results, it's not actually that satisfying, right? It isn't. And I'm not interested in creating another paradigm. And I'm not saying that you get to skip the steps either, right? So I'm not coachable, but it's coming into that alignment. It's really coming into the alignment of who you are. So you're stepping away from just the intellect into integrating wholeness so that all of you can work together. Right, so that was my fourth tip, was around your messaging. And then the fifth one, which is something that, I mean, there's so much information out there about whether you should do a webinar, or whether you should do a Facebook group, or whether you should go on LinkedIn and use that strategy, or whether you should do YouTube videos, or whether you should stick to one platform and then grow it, right? There's so much. Or whether you should write a book and then and then you'll be able to start selling. Whether you should start selling and then do it, right? Trust me, I've done a lot of work on this. But the key thing that I've really discovered in your confidence, in your energy, and when you get on board, is when you've made that energetic decision, is selling. It's selling, it's showing up, whether you've got an offer scripted or not, right? And your focus is important. So I do recommend keeping it simple, but for many people, they will have a lot of creativity coming through them. So they might have one offer with 3 tiers. They might be a kind of person that shows up with offers as soon as they drop in, right? Like manifesting generators. So people, respond to those things. They might be very consistent in their offer, right? So they do rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, and they just do that, and it works, and they don't mind, and they don't care if it's boring, right? They just know that it works, and it gives them satisfaction on a different level. So it's not, they don't need that to create that sense of satisfaction, but offer, right? So most people have a block around sales and money, because those are the two things you've been conditioned with across the globe, and they're seen as bad, they're seen as evil. And yet the irony is that the people that actually put you into these systems and actually have you buying shit you don't need, and also really influencing your behavior in a way that causes you to do things out of force, right? So there's this real heavy requirement, like you must take the vaccine, and then you must pay this tax, and you must send your children to university, and all of this stuff. They make so much money out of things that don't fucking work, and their intention is not for the best for you, right? And it is complex, because there is good in everything, right? So it's not like they might have an unconscious behavior too, right? But I'll give you an example. So we were talking today, right, about my son. So sometimes I don't bother brushing his teeth. I don't, because when he was flagged up for autism and stuff, one of the things about bringing him in was not to force him to do, was to connect with him, not battle with him, right? Was to really build that loving connection. And so, yeah, he doesn't always brush his teeth, right? But on the other hand, I know this, that what you've been taught is not necessarily true. Because if brushing your teeth worked, why do we have so many old people that their teeth fall out? They have dentures, even if they go to the dentist and all the rest of it, they have their wisdom teeth taken out and all the rest of it. And I'll tell you why. It's because brushing your teeth can actually cause you more damage than good. Right? It can. And I read Viktor Frankl's, I think it was, I can't remember which book it is, one of his. And, and he was actually talking about when they were in the concentration camps, how they didn't brush their teeth, and they had healthier teeth and gums than they'd had in years. Right. So I'm not I'm not saying that you shouldn't brush your teeth, right? I do think hygiene is important. I personally floss every single day, but it's more about understanding what works, right? And following that. So another example was another girl inside the group for healing. Her daughter didn't wash her hair for a whole year. And a lot of you might think, oh my gosh, that's really, ew, that's disgusting, that's nasty. But actually, when you're young, especially, you have natural oils in your hair. Your body naturally knows how to take care of itself. And so if you're washing with just like water or whatever, you don't even have to wash your hair that often. It actually, your body knows what to do, right? So a lot of the stuff that we've been conditioned with, a lot of it you don't actually need. It's not actually true, right? And if it worked, then you could say that it works, right? But it actually, it doesn't. Most people that go to school, most people that go to university, by the time they've been through the system, they don't have much to live on. In fact, I think it's like 80% of people that go through it actually end up dependent on their family or the state. Right, so it doesn't build wealth. There's nothing at school is teaching you how to build wealth, right? It doesn't build health. People get old, they go to the hospital, they ended up falling over because they've never done weights, right, to build balance or their mineral density in their bodies. People are poisoned all the time, right, through pesticides and chemtrails. Like, you see them every fucking day, right? They're in the sky with the gas canisters. And the levels of autism has never been so high because they're very highly sensitive beings on the one hand, and then on the other hand, they're coming into an environment that's very toxic. So it's and they have their own genius, right? But then they're put into this disorder category. They're even given disability badges or whatever because they're not like every other person. But it's actually not what it seems, right? And I do believe in guidance, and I do believe in structure, and I do believe in ways that we can learn, right, and upgrade. But what I'm saying in a nutshell is that your purpose, your way of doing things might seem different to what is mainstream, but it's meant to be. Right? It's actually meant to be, because you're part of the new process, you're part of the new creation, you're part of upgrading these things so that they can work, so that they bring more peace, prosperity, health, wealth, abundance, joy, connection, and you can really enjoy your life. Most people don't enjoy their lives. They're caught up in the doing, they're caught up in the overthinking, they're caught up in trying to fix themselves in some way, right? So they're not in a state of joy, they're not in a state of rest, they're not in a state of pleasure. I mean, I could really go on about the female dynamic and all the rest of it, right? But so that was my last point, was clear messaging. No, my last point was sell. You got something of service to sell it, right? Because the conditioning that we have around money and sales, it is very interesting, very, very interesting. Most people don't want to sell because they might feel like they don't deserve it, or that it's sleazy, or they're not a salesperson. I remember that one, right? Or they're too nice, right? Or they want money, but they don't feel like they deserve money because there's an unconscious program going on there, right? And so that is that those are my 5 tips. So having said that, I was supposed to drop the offer at the beginning of this video. I totally forgot, right? So I do have an offer. I've got 3 months one-on-one at the moment, which is literally getting the ball rolling so that you can build that momentum and start selling, because nothing's going to grow you like actually doing the damn thing. Right? It really isn't. Nothing's going to grow you like actually doing the damn thing whilst you're healing and all of those things. And you'll get to a state of stability where you'll be able to deep dive and things like that, possibly. I don't know what your journey is going to look like, to be honest, but that is really about elevating you into your purpose. And then, you know, the 2 months after that is really about maintaining that consistent structure. So that's my activate and amplify your purpose offer. And that is really specifically for people that have a gift. They know they have a gift, they've been delivering their gift, but they've never really gone all in to really deliver it, right? For whatever reason, maybe and they've also been conditioned through business strategy that they need to show up a certain way, or they need to fit some kind of rigid structure that doesn't work for them, right? Because or they've never pushed themselves outside of their comfort zone, right? So it's really about that. So if you're spiritual and you've got a gift to deliver, you might also have an unconscious pattern that you need to give it away for free, which is not true, right? That's again another condition of society. And actually, if you look at religion, which is heavily programmed, there's some of the richest people in the world, right? When you look at the Vatican and things like that, they're so rich and they have tons of controversy, so much, right? And people see them as an authority rather than seeing themselves as an authority, that they will just blindly do whatever they're told. So, you know, really coming into the realization of unconditional love and letting create a love in you means that you end up doing things that work. that don't have any darkness or deception around it. So really, again, coming back into that truth. So that's that one. And then I'm going to be doing a beginner offer for people that have just started to hear the call, right? And they really want to get on track fast and not have to, you know, take the slow route. So someone actually asked a question on one of my friends' pages. So she said, what does being a leader mean to you? And so for me, it basically means you go first, you fall on your ass, right? Get stuff right. And then your followers can see what works and what doesn't work. Excuse me, because you're leading the way forward, right? There's no hierarchy in it. It's just a kind of higher state of awareness because you've already taken that path, right? Because you're all unconditionally loved. And so as you come on board, I'm able to give you that awareness. You can move through your own growth, but you don't have to do everything from scratch. You're learning the fastest way and you're on the most direct path. And what we do really is we end up clearing a lot of the density so that you can hear your own guidance, right? And you can really live in rest and peace and play so that you are no longer overthinking everything. You're no longer trying to make things happen off your own steam. You're no longer trying to fix yourself, right? You just understand the journey and you enjoy it. Like you genuinely enjoy it. And then that level of peace and trust and intuition, it increases through you and you find yourself making much more aligned decisions. And although you love unconditionally, you're not afraid to be courageous and make really good decisions, right? Which includes giving people back their own trauma, their own stuff, so that they can do the work and come into wholeness themselves. So that's my 3-month offer and my 6-week intensive for people that are just starting to wake up, right? Or maybe they're just at a different stage of the game and they don't want to go all in on the 3-month offer, right? Maybe they just wanted to try the 6 months and then continue to grow, right? Because pace is really important. And this is something that isn't talked about a lot, right? Your energetic container will increase as you're ready to increase it. And there are some people that will go from like boom to like that, right? And you will as well. I'm not saying that you won't. But if you don't go at the pace that is aligned for you, it's possibly going to be a lot more painful and you won't enjoy it as much. Now, you're probably going to make that mistake, right? Cancel. You might encounter that. You might encounter that, but see it as gold anyway. Like, what can I learn from this? What can I discover from this, right? But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I did the Inca Trail in Peru, in 2007. I remember because I don't really like going uphill, right? It's not a strong point for me. Dancing, do for 6 hours non-stop, no problem. Trekking, hiking, wasn't so much, right? I'm a lot better right now, right? But and because there was always talk around altitude sickness and blah 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 blah, like it was really negative. If I'd known this stuff, then I would just be like, oh, my body loves it, I'm really good, like it would have been really different. But the guide watched us the first day, and I was killing myself, right, to keep up with everybody else, and I was worried about what people were going to think of me and things like that. So I'm so weak, can't do it, it's really unfit. And he said to us at dinner time, which was amazing, by the way, it's some of the best food I've ever had, right? He said, go at your own pace. He said, don't worry about it. He said, you'll be fine, you'll make it, just go at your own pace. And from that point in the journey, I loved it. Me and my brother, I think it was the second day, we were going through the indoor jungle and out on the kind of mountainous bits. So nice. It was so nice. We went through the valley and we were singing and chatting, and we were going slowly, and we took little breaks and we took photos, and we were really enjoying the journey, right? And there was another group next to us, and you could see that they, I don't know, their guide was like, come on, you weaklings, you gotta go, right? And you could see, and they ran past us, I think 2 or 3 times. But because we were going at our own pace and we enjoyed it so much, we actually got to the next point way before they did. So we actually just kept walking past them like the tortoise and the hare, right? And I am a manifestor profile, so I can actually move really fast, right, in short bursts, and that's actually one of the things that I do. But going at my own pace on that journey actually helped me speed up. So by the next day, I was really fast. I don't know why, and so was my brother, right? So it's very funny. I was just about to share something that was possibly not so, possibly a little bit private, right? But allowing yourself to be in alignment is everything, and that comes as you journey through, right? So my 5 points again is know who you're speaking to, be clear on what you serve, who you serve, like be clear in your offer, the results, be yourself authentically, and your messaging, who are you communicating to, does it really from your heart, and also just logically what makes sense, because sometimes you'll write something down, it doesn't make any sense, and then you read it back and think, oh, I need to put an A in there, right? So almost grammatically, doesn't have to be perfect, by the way, you don't have to get your spelling right or anything like that. It's just that you can read it back as an outsider and it would make some kind of sense. You don't have to, I mean, there is advice, right, that it must make sense to an 8-year-old, but depending on who your client is, they might not want to be spoken to like an 8-year-old. They might actually really enjoy the message that's coming through, or as a soul, right? They might just feel the energy. Well, they probably will just feel the energy, but messaging. And then the 5th one is sell. You don't have to do it like, you don't have to do it frequently, like every day. You might want to, right? But the point is that you're good to sell your services, you're good to sell your products, and I promise you, any of your abundance or blocks to money will come up when you do this. It really will. You will notice it, like it will just you will notice that resistance. I know that that's been my experience, right? And so and even if you make loads of sales, right, then you might not have a really good relationship with money, so you might end up spending all of it because of the different energetic set points. And then what I was going to say, yeah, so you want to sell and do that part of the journey. So those were the unconscious blocks, and you want to do, right, so that's the business strategy, those 5 points, but you want to do the work, right? The inner work. And it's not so much about striving, it's more about coming into alignment. You can play full out and be really intense with it, right? You can clear a lot of shit really, really, really fast and then hold to that energetic structure, or you can go at a different pace or you can change it at any time, but do it every single day, right? Wake up, do your inner size if you've got John Assaraf's program, right? Do your meditation, do your hypnosis, do whatever it is, whatever it takes to come into alignment with your heart's desires, right? And understand that it's a journey. So, and that will keep expanding as you move through. So you might move from nothing to 5 grand, then to 50, then to 100, then to 1 million, then to 1 billion, right? It just, there is no limitation. But again, the reason why I did the process at the beginning is because whatever you're calling in the physical, you want it to match those inner feelings. Because everything you do is for the feeling of it. It really is, right? It's for the experience. All right, so that was the second day of Activate and Amplify Your Purpose with me, your girl Sav. If you are interested in working with me, please reach out to me, and I will send you the details of the offer. We can have a conversation so I can see if it fits as well, right? If you enjoyed this, please share it with people that you know could benefit from it. Save it. I am going to put it onto YouTube, and keep showing up. Keep showing up, right? You're being called. Will you answer? I don't know. It's your choice, right? But here's the last thing that I would finish on. I have discovered that transformation is the only way forward. So if you're not growing, you're not moving, and you're an ocean of motion anyway. So if you're not moving, then a bit like how I was talking about, you know, old people lose their balance and things like that. You kind of go into a state of decline, and it's not necessary, right? It really is not necessary. So you are at choice, right? You really are at choice, and you get to decide, especially once you become aware of this information, what you choose. All right, lots of love to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.